Oh no! My little rubber thing fell off. Find it later.
All right, ready?
Ready? Mm-hmm. Bah, 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 bah. Welcome back to that Josh and Bailey show. Week 4, is it? Yes, Week 4 in the NFL. Week 3 is in the books. A pretty interesting week, a pretty exciting week, I'd say. Few upsets, few big games. We'll only go through a little bit of that, and then we got a big lineup set. We got a lot of questions, got a lot of picks, got a lot of extracurriculars that we gotta go through. You reminded me so ever kindly about my incident today, so I'm going to touch on that really quick. Or actually, it was, what day is that? Monday?
Yeah, since we didn't get an episode out.
So I was out deer hunting, and there was a beautiful buck, 8-point buck. 8-point. And
okay.
I am very picky when I go hunting, so I only shoot shooter bucks. If you're a hunter, you know what that is. You know it's a nice one. You know it's not a little one. I shot at it, and I believe I blasted its shoulder.
Definitely missed.
Definitely. I hit it, but there was no blood, and he ran off with my arrow. I saw him run with my arrow. If I didn't, then I'm being gaslit by the deer, but I don't think that's possible. So I was a little moody on Monday. I was a little moody on Tuesday.
So no episode.
No episode.
No recap.
episode.
Yeah, no recap.
No
episode.
recap. No nothing. It was a bad week.
So we get kind of a double whammy.
a double
this
whammy
week.
today. Yeah. Hopefully, I'm keeping it within an hour. That's the goal.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, you never know. These things happen. You know what you got to watch though, and this is kind of a little short plug. So Jake Nord,
Shout to
Mitchell's
Jake,
brother.
Yeah,
Yep.
shout to Jake.
He's doing his movie next month.
Okay.
And so he sent us little clips and little snips of it. Check it out because I like it. I think he's really good at what he's doing. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
So a little bit of that on top of that.
Let me look up his.
It's like
channel.
It's like J Nord Production or something.
Yeah. Let me get that real quick, just so we can
give him
give him an official shout out here.
Give him a little plug. No. Yeah. Other than that, good week. As far as picks goes, I went 9-7. Bailey went 8-8. And so with last week, it sets up a big game for this week. If you're a Minnesota resident or a Wisconsin resident, or if you live in some parts of Iowa, you probably are invested in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick. So I got it here. It is J Nord Production on YouTube. So shout out to Jake. Jake, thank you for coming to watch me play softball on Monday.
Some is still wounded.
But yeah, so back to the game.
Yeah, back to the game. It's a huge game. Obviously, it's Vikings, Packers. Packer week is always a big week in Minnesota. I imagine it's the same. I don't know if it's the top. Chicago still carries. Wisconsin source, what do you say? Yeah, she's go Pack-O. She sucks. She's a terrible person. I'm actually surrounded. Oh my gosh. If I get murdered, do you know who did it?
You get my grandparents.
That's true, yeah. We could team up and beat you up.
Yep.
So. First game of the week, last week, week 3. Huge game. Blowout win. Unstoppable. Unbelievable. I think it's real. I'm a skeptic still, even after that. However, the Vikings look good.
They looked phenomenal.
The Vikings look good.
I think I had said last week when I took the Texans that we were going to see the real Sam Darnold. And I'm gonna backtrack on that a little bit and say that that's the real Sam Darnold.
Real Sam Darnold, bruh.
That was an absolute masterclass. Brian Flores had CJ Stroud in hell all day long.
Dude, talk to him. Yeah, no, I'm impressed. Like, not saying that as oh wow, that was an impressive. Like, that's an impressive team.
Yeah.
Like, they just mesh. And I mean, okay, is it a Cinderella story? Yeah, of course it's a Cinderella story.
Yeah, nobody thought the Vikings were going to be.
No, and I didn't really think. I think I said last week that it'll be a good game. Like, it'll be close. I could see him winning.
Not a blowout like it was.
Not a blowout like it was though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you've got C.J. Stroud throwing 2 picks, hasn't thrown a pick in almost a year, and he's uncomfortable in the pocket. They're not running the ball very well.
Made him look like a rookie.
It made him look like a rookie. Like
sure.
I definitely think he is taking a step back. However, this was this was tough for anybody. I think anybody in that game is getting riled up.
Yeah,
so
that defense was clicking.
Offense looks good. AJ, Aaron Jones, stud. Really glad we have him. I was actually going back and forth with the Volk on this, and it was, would you pick Dalvin Cook or Aaron Jones?
I've been saying Aaron Jones forever, and that's another take that Vikings fans hated me for. But I just think Aaron Jones, like, being on the field has been an issue.
Yeah.
Health concerns, but being consistent because they were the same draft class, correct? 27. I think they were the same as Mahomes. 2017.
Yep.
But I think consistency being key in that. Like Aaron Jones' best season is second or third year, scoring 19 touchdowns.
Yeah.
When he's on the field, he is one of the best running backs all around. Can catch the ball, run routes. It's, seeing it for 7 to 8 years. He's an incredible back, and the Vikings are very lucky to have him, especially with their running back situation from last year. Now having Aaron Jones,
Stud,
man.
And he's happy. He's happy to be here. I don't know if you think this or not, but when I see players that go to different teams or like go to rival teams and they say, "Man, I'm really happy to be here. Man, I don't always buy it."
Yeah, I think it's tough in the Aaron Jones situation, like getting cut kind of just out of the blue and having to kind of do a quick turnaround, find a home. I thought it was going to be Dallas. Dallas was kind of in that situation, needing a running back, and he's from El Paso.
Yep.
But I think Minnesota is just such a great fit to utilize a back like him.
Yeah.
And they've done great so far with him. They're getting him involved early, scoring touchdowns. I think he's averaging close to 100 yards, if not over 100 total yards.
He had 90-some the first game, 90-some the second game, or the third game, and then I think he had like 30
so maybe a little bit, 40. Yeah, maybe a little bit less, but yeah, I mean, he's still 29.
Yeah.
He's
gosh,
not.
Yeah.
There's no wash. Did you
He's
by
got fresh
chance?
legs too.
Oh yeah. Did you by chance see his letter to Green Bay that he posted today? Yeah.
I didn't read it, but I saw it.
Oh, it's a good read.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. He gets. I mean, going to Lambeau this week, it's definitely gonna be emotional for not just him but fans.
Where would you compare it to the Favre thing? I guess Favre's maybe a little bit before our time, but still like.
Oh, I still remember the Favre situation.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
good.
I was 7, 8 years old, but I still remember it. I think the Favre situation was a different scenario because of him threatening to retire multiple times. He played a year with the Jets, so kind of Packer fans were still salty towards him. Ended up making his amends, obviously getting his number retired. But I think Aaron Jones being such a fan favorite,
Just a good guy too.
just a great guy off the field, somebody that you want to be teammates with. But yeah, him getting cut out of nowhere for about 5 minutes when the Packers announced the signing of Josh Jacobs. Packer Nation was in heaven. They were thinking that we were walking in with Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, just going to have the best running back core in the league, and then reality hit when Jones got cut.
Yep.
But yeah, it's definitely going to be an emotional weekend for Jones heading back to Lambeau. So,
Oh man, I just can't wait for the day till Raj gets back. If he plays and they make it back to Lambeau, holy smokes. That'll be bigger than Favre.
yeah, for sure. Especially playing against Love, where like Rodgers still is loved amongst Green Bay fans, where at first Favre wasn't. So that'd be a huge game. I'd want to be at that game. I think it would be a very expensive game to go to. But even if I'm sitting in the top row, last seat in the stadium, I'd still want to be there.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's a once in a lifetime type thing. When Tom went back to New England type thing, it's I mean, just in general, like seeing players like that who are at that caliber is a once in a lifetime thing, or at least like it's something special. So I think that's
having a legend come back
for sure
to your stadium, not in your colors.
Exactly. Yeah, that would be crazy to me. Like, I'm just thinking of like Adrian Peterson. That's probably the first one that comes to mind is, when he came back with the Saints, it's like, dude, like that just looks ugly. Like it just looks so
looks
weird.
bad. Yeah.
So Vikings, awesome. We might as well just jump into the Packers versus Titans.
Yeah. Yep.
Malik Willis.
Man. Listen, Malik, what he has done over the past 2 weeks, I mean, definitely not expected. First start against the Colts, would they have like 50, 60 rushing attempts this week?
Yeah.
They opened up with a play action for like 20-something yards.
Yeah.
Letting him kind of get into a groove, passing, still relying on the run game, but 30-14 against the Titans. I understand the Titans are, kind of on the low end of teams, but still LaFleur putting together a great game plan. The defense, man, that Packers defense, 8 sacks, a couple picks. Jair, shout out to John Money. Pick 6.
Back.
The craziest thing. So I was actually talking to Cass about this when I was at softball at a tournament. So I wasn't able to like sit there and watch the game, but I just came off the field and she comes up to the fence and tells me that Jair got a pick 6. Well, the day before, I'd seen somebody that I follow on Twitter. I can't remember who it is, but they had actually predicted a Jair pick 6, first one ever in his career. So the fact that he predicted it was crazy. Now that was the first thing that came to mind. I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
That's a good bet.
That's a good bet to take." Yeah. But yeah, that Packers defense, man, set that offense up for success. Yeah. But that offense still was. I mean, LaFleur had a great game plan these last 2 weeks without Jordan Love. I don't know what the situation's gonna be this upcoming week. I would expect Love to be back just because it is the Vikings.
It's a big game.
It's a big game.
It's a big game right now.
You can take the division lead
by 2
if you
games.
win. Well, no, by 1 or half game technically over the Vikings.
If you win.
Yeah, if we win. But if the Vikings do,
that's a 2-game head start.
It's a big, It's
a big 2-game head start. I mean, no, I think.
What do you think? Did you get to catch any of the highlights of that game or?
Just the pick 6.
Okay.
I saw the Malik Willis 3 touchdowns, and I saw the pick 6, but I didn't really watch too much.
Okay. Yeah, no, like I said, 8 sacks. I mean,
that's a lot. That's a rough day.
You start to feel bad. She was saying too, she's like, I actually kind of feel bad for him.
Well, I mean, Will Levis is an idiot in general, so it's like.
Yeah, but he did not have much time. There's a couple of the sacks that he took. It's like, all right, you've held on to the ball for 3 seconds. You need to make a decision. But when you're bringing 7 guys, it's like you're probably not getting that ball off.
Tough. And that I mean, I don't know. I think I said this before. They are a good defense. Like they got dogs on defense, so it's not easy in general when you do have time. So I mean,
it's gonna be a
good luck
with both offenses clicking between the Vikings Packers and then both defenses playing the way that they have been playing. It's gonna be a dogfight. And this is exactly what NFC North fans have been waiting for. Is getting back.
Getting back to the old nitty-gritty 2000s ball. You got some good teams, some good football, and it actually means something.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess follow up, are the Packers that good?
I think their game plan, like how they're setting up their game plan, kind of proves that they're going to be there, like in contention for a playoff spot. Now, whether that be, a 6-7 seed again, or maybe they do take a shot at the end of the season to be able to overtake the North again. But I think, the way that they played last year, the way that they've played this year, even in that first game against Philly in Brazil, they didn't play bad. They didn't lose by, a lot. So I think they'll be right up there in the NFC.
So I mean, like as far as the North goes, is Detroit in trouble then? Because I mean, you got to think they've got a first place schedule, so they've got the hardest games on the schedule. Green Bay looks good even without Jordan Love, and the Vikings are kind of on this high. Who knows how long it goes? So is Detroit in trouble?
I don't think so. With the way that Minnesota's playing, I could see the North putting out 3 teams. Yeah, for sure. I think Detroit isn't going to have like a one and done fall off year.
Yeah.
Like, coming off hot last year, probably 1 or 2 plays from reaching the Super Bowl. I think Detroit will definitely. I think they're still the team to beat in the North. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't see them falling off and going like 8-8 or 9-7. I still think that they're going to be above
500. Yeah.
No, I think they're going to be above a 10-win team.
Oh yeah. I mean, no, yeah. Obviously, I'm still on them. Like, I think
right.
I
don't think they're.
I still think that they are probably the team to beat in the NFC, even though they're facing a little bit more than they probably should be. I mean, that Arizona game, Arizona's getting better. They're not a great team, but they are better with Kyler Murray, and now Marvin Harrison Jr. is a stud, certified. Yeah. So for Detroit, it's gonna be, can you score when you need to, and if you do be aggressive, Dan Campbell, make sure it works, because
red zone scoring is still
is a problem. Mm-hmm. Take the points right now as it is. Like, there's nothing wrong with taking 3. If you get a score, you're still. I mean, at the end of the day, if you have more points than the other team, you win the game. Plain and simple. Yep. Win games. Don't worry so much about how it looks or what it is, because come playoff time, if you have more points than the other team, you're gonna win the game, and that's all that matters.
Yep.
No, I don't think they're in trouble. I think that there's definitely there's more pressure on them, though.
I think there's definitely a sense of urgency.
There you go. Yeah. That's because if Minnesota is legitimately this good, Green Bay's in trouble. Yeah. Chicago doesn't stand a chance.
No, like Chicago looks bad.
Detroit's probably the next man up, where it's like, okay, if the Vikings are that good, it's going to go through Detroit. And if Green Bay is that good as well, it's going to go. It's a 3-headed it's like a 3-way tie.
You can get 3 North teams ending with 10+ wins.
Oh, yeah, easily. Because they play each other twice. If you split, boom, then you've already got a head start on everybody. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a good season. So we talked about Chicago a little bit, the rookie situation there. Caleb Williams doesn't look that great. I think Jaden Daniels is the steal of the draft at 2. Not like steal, but I would say he's probably the quarterback.
QB1
of the draft. Yeah, he's QB1 of the draft. QB1 of last year's draft. Bryce Young benched. Big news, kind of. Andy Dalton goes in there, gets the dub.
Tears it up. Just
tears him up.
Tears him
4
up.
tutties.
Yeah.
4 tutties.
Making the Raiders look bad.
I feel like though, QBs who come in like that, they tend to do well the first game, and then they
first or second.
out.
It's like a Josh Dobbs type thing. It's like coming in a little bit different because Josh Dobbs switching teams, but Andy Dalton, man, I didn't expect anything close to that.
No.
And not saying that he couldn't, because I mean when he was playing in Cincy and they weren't really competing because it was always Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But like Andy Dalton, it's like he could win games.
He's a gamer. Yeah, he's a gamer. But I mean, my question is Bryce Young the problem then? Is he the reason that they're not that great? Or is it just they got hot one game, next week we'll see him back being Carolina?
It's such a tough situation to kind of judge right now. Like the Panthers roster isn't good.
No.
So starting even like last year, it was just a bad situation. And when you're hoping that a young rookie is just going to come in and, get you 5+ wins their rookie season with probably the worst constructed roster. And then coming into this season, making it even worse, trading away Brian Burns.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Not really bringing any offensive weapons in. I think Chuba Hubbard is still the lead back. They brought in Deontay Johnson. That's not really anything.
Unless you're a fantasy owner, you need a number one. That's
right. You still have Adam Thielen kind of as your wide receiver one. You bring in Xavier Legette. It's kind of questionable all around with the last 2 drafts. They gave up a lot for Bryce Young, hoping that he was just going to kind of be what he was in college. But I don't think the blame's on him. I think Andy being a vet coming in, being able to kind of orchestrate the offense. Yeah. It's what a vet should be able to do.
Yeah.
But I think you got to give Bryce time. I still think he's a good quarterback. I don't know if it's going to be one of those situations where, next year they just dump him and restart. Because this next quarterback class, if Carolina finishes as a bottom seed, a bottom team with like a top 3 pick, there's a chance that like a Quinn Ewers could be the next quarterback of the Carolina Panthers.
I don't love Carolina's situation, because I
still think that Bryce could fetch like some picks.
Oh yeah, he'll get you a second.
Right. Yeah,
he'll get you a second. I don't think he gets a first.
Maybe a late.
It just sucks because it's like for him, I think he's better waiting. I think he's not. I don't think he's ready for it. I didn't think he was ready for it last year. I think that he
should have put him in like a Drake May, JJ McCarthy situation.
Like just make him sit. Like let him learn the game because the game looks too fast for him. It doesn't look like he knows what he's doing, and so the game is too fast for him. Let him figure it out. Let him watch someone else do it with the offense. Because if it is one of those things where it's like monkey see, monkey do, then you're gonna pick it up as you go. It's not.
Let him replicate.
Exactly. Like, it's not something where it's like, okay, we want you to do this, go do it, because it's not going to work. He's never played this fast before in his life.
Yep.
So,
and then, like I said, having that bottom tier roster is that's so tough.
That's tough. No, I just feel bad for the kid. Like, it's so much pressure, and like you said with Quinn Ewers there, you have Shadur there, you got Carson Beck there, you've got some other guys who are ready for that step. Cam Ward.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting offseason if Carolina finishes with, even a top 5 pick. It's like, all right, we just drafted first overall Bryce Young. He's not, panning out the way that we wanted him to. Do we go in a different direction, or do we stick with our guy that, we just used a first overall pick for?
So that kind of brings me to another question. And if you are Carolina and you do keep Bryce Young, where do you rebuild? Like, where do you start? Because that team, you got Legette, so he's wide out one. Tight end, I wouldn't pick a tight end, but I'm against tight ends in general, so it's biased. But running back, it's not really going to matter.
I think for Bryce, what you need to do is really just build that receiver core. Thielen is on his way out. I think he's either done after this year, going on IR. He's either going to be done this year or, I can see him just going back to Minnesota and being the wide receiver 4 or 5, just kind of taking up a roster spot, get a couple hundred yards. But I would say getting rid of Thielen. I really didn't like the Deontay Johnson pickup, but I would say just getting some young guys that Bryce Young can grow with. And, kind of put him in that Jordan Love situation where it's like, all right, we have 4 or 5 receivers who aren't household names that most people outside of Packer fans really don't know. But just let him, just go get him some receivers. Go, first round, second round, or first and third round, get him some receivers. that he can just grow with. You know, everybody goes through growing pains at the same time, and then once that starts clicking, it works.
I just look at, I mean, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase kind of ruined the game. Because you pair up college teammates, you make it work. You go to Miami, you pair up college teammates, you make it work. You go to Philly, you pair up. I mean, Devontae Smith was there. I don't know if he was such an impact player, though. But you go there, you pair up teammates, and it works. I mean, A.J. Brown.
You have some type of chemistry.
Yeah. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts are best friends. So it's like you've got that going for you.
Yep.
I'm trying to think who else is really. They tried it with Hollywood and Kyler Murray. They tried it out there. Didn't work. So it is, not tried and
It's hit and miss, yeah.
But it is something that there's like science to it.
Right.
You've got that chemistry coming into the league. You've got that, that mind-body connection with this guy. So it's like if you do, like you said, if you do grow together, you're going to grow a lot faster because you've got a familiar face there.
Right. Yeah.
So, and on the topic of trades, I mean, I guess it's kind of like going a little farther, but who do you see as a trade block player now? Like, who would you not be surprised to be traded?
I got a couple.
Okay.
This question was brought up, I want to say yesterday. I think Max Crosby on Pod I think he was asked, if things start to spiral with Vegas, they can't figure it out, what team would he want to play for? You know what he said? Detroit Lions.
Yes, sir.
So
you already know them boys.
I can see high caliber players from the Raiders being probably two.
Yeah.
Max Crosby, Devontae Adams. Yeah. I would say probably Crosby first. I think another one that probably doesn't get traded, but he's a little bit older, coming off injury, is Mark Andrews. Not really being utilized at all. I know it's kind of hard because you just picture him in a Ravens uniform. He looks good in it, I think if some team comes out that wants a good pass catching tight end, good red zone threat, I think somebody could overpay.
They'll pay a pretty penny for him.
Yeah, I could see somebody overpaying for 2 years of Mark Andrews.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. What about what's his name? Robert Simmons out of Tennessee. Do you know him?
Jeffrey,
there you go. Yep. You got me.
Yeah.
I could see a guy like that.
Yeah. All pro caliber.
I could see
star.
a guy like that.
Yeah, I could see a Jeffrey Simmons. I mean, realistically, it's just top guys on the worst teams.
So Jeffrey Simmons, anyone that needs to tackle. I just had one in my brain. Etienne
would be an interesting one. I do, however, think that with him and Lawrence being so young still, unless they got an offer they couldn't refuse, I think they would probably keep him. If it's we'll trade you a couple day 2 picks or whatever it is, you kind of have to sit back and think all right, we have a really good running back on the roster. He's still young. Quarterback who has shown flashes. Do we want to break that up and just go full rebuild?
He's not the guy.
I mean, he's still young. This is his third, fourth season?
He might be young, but it's not working in Jacksonville.
Just another team that doesn't have a good roster, though. But, yeah, like I said, though, top players on bad teams, we could see some stuff.
But then that's where you want to restart your roster, though. And then to blow it all up, you blow it all up.
Yeah, so. I think Jacksonville, no matter what, would keep Lawrence. They're paying him $55. Oh, yeah. They already gave him the contract.
He's there.
But
no, I just think if, let's say, Saquon goes down, or let's say CMC doesn't come back, and Carson, or what's his name, Mason, whatever.
Mason, yeah.
he goes down. Someone who needs a good running back who's in the hunt.
Yeah, making that push.
Make that push to go get him. I could see something like that work out for him. So, I mean, as far as contenders go, who, as week 3, as we go into week 4, who are your Super Bowl contenders today?
I think the obvious one, Kansas City.
Okay. Let's do top 3 AFC, top 3 NFC. No. I don't like that. Let's do top 4 NFC, top 4 AFC. Okay. I mean, that at least gives you division leaders. So you got KC.
Right. Who else in the AFC is like? Because I think Buffalo is. I think KC is just in a class of their own, so it's hard to.
They just win.
Yeah.
They just win.
Yeah. Buffalo would probably be 2.
It's a wide open.
I'm gonna make a prediction.
Hot take.
That I think they get past the wild card round this year.
Buffalo.
No. I'm gonna go New York. I'm gonna go
New York
with the
Jets. I was thinking that. I was just thinking that too, because like
I like the Jets.
Yeah, I do.
I like that roster.
I do.
Aaron Rodgers looks like he's slinging it again. So I'll go Jets for my 3rd, and then for my 4th.
It's tricky.
It's tricky because I think like the good teams that everybody kind of thinks about just haven't started off well. You think of like Cincinnati. You think of Baltimore.
Cleveland's in that mix.
Yeah, Cleveland. Because like I'm not gonna put like the Steelers as a top 4 team, even though they're 3-0. I'll throw Baltimore in there just because it's still Baltimore. Like they're probably
Houston.
Like Houston could be up there. Houston kind of a little bit,
What about the Chargers?
Man, I think they're just a mid. They're mid. They lost 20-10 to the Steelers.
Yeah.
So they're kind of on the downslope.
I feel you though, where it's like the good teams that should be good are bad, and that's what I think. That's what I think is overhyped, or I guess underhyped about Super Bowl contenders. Because if you're going to the Super Bowl, every single game matters. It doesn't matter who you play, where you are, what you're doing. Every single game matters, and that's what's frustrating about like teams that lose the gimme games, like Cincinnati beat Washington. Yeah, a few years ago it was the Vikings. Beat
New
good
York.
teams. Yeah, beat teams late in the half, where it's like you've got these teams who are supposedly so good, but then they lose in the worst possible ways, and it's like you can't have that. Or it's like, we've got a big game against whomever, and then they lose it. I think that's very, very telling of where you really are in the lineup, because a Super Bowl winning team like Kansas City is going to win the close games. It doesn't matter what that looks like.
Yep.
They'll blow you out. They'll win the close ones. Buffalo, right now, they're going to blow your doors off.
Yeah.
But if it gets down to the nitty gritty, they're going to win that game as well. New York, Aaron Rodgers has won a lot of games. If they figure it out, because you got to think, this is kind of like the first year that they're all together.
Yeah.
So if they figure it out, they'll win a lot of games. Miami's a perfect one last year.
Yeah.
Super hot team, red hot offense, beat Denver 17-20, and now all of a sudden you're starting to lose these little games. You're starting to lose here and there.
Yeah.
Cincinnati for the last 2 years, losing little games here and there. Baltimore last year, losing. They have a problem losing in the postseason, but still, Super Bowl contenders win those games.
I still think Baltimore is going to be my 4th pick. They beat Dallas. They lost to Kansas City by about
In Kansas City.
in Kansas City by about 2 inches of a catch that Isaiah likely didn't bring down.
But Super Bowl contenders bring that down.
Yeah, you gotta do it. But I still think that Baltimore. I'm still high on Baltimore until they're at 8 losses. I'm still probably gonna be high on them.
I don't know. NFC's tricky.
Still got Lions.
Yeah, Lions, Detroit, Super Lions. San Francisco, I
That's hard, man. That's such a, especially with like the injuries. Ayuk not playing up to his contract. Brock Purdy kind of
He's carrying. Brock is carrying.
Yeah.
I think he's number 1 or 2 in the league in yards right now, carrying that team.
But yeah, he's looking a little bit more human than what we kind of put him up as.
That team.
Philly. I'm going
Super
Philly.
Bowl contender.
Yeah, out of the NFC. Yeah, they can make a run.
I'd say division winner. Okay,
Because I think they would beat like Dallas in the play. I mean, a lot of teams can beat Dallas in the playoffs. It's the Cowboys in the playoffs. But I mean,
they were losing most of the game on Sunday though against New Orleans.
Yeah, it's still Philadelphia. If you have to go to Philadelphia in the cold in a playoff environment, that's such a hard game to win.
They're just ruining my trust because I had them so high. It's like when you're talking to a girl and you're talking to her and she's great, and then all of a sudden you just start to see it a little bit. You're like, there's a little bit of, there's something off. It's just like it's pretty to look at. You want it to work so bad, but there's just something off about that Philly team. I don't know what it is.
That's him. That's not me. I got mine right there. So
okay, yeah. But in general, as you look at something shiny, you look at something nice, and it's just like,
what's under the hood there?
Exactly. Yeah.
What's under the hood?
Exactly. I don't know. I mean, Philly's a good pick. I'm not gonna take it away.
I think Detroit, Philly. What
about your Green Bay Super Packers, Super Bowl contenders, Super Packers?
I think they're a playoff team. I gotta see like Love coming back. Biggest thing is like an MCL injury. That's tough.
Yeah,
tough to deal with. So it's like if he comes back and he's healthy and they're dominant on both sides of the ball, then yeah. But just because it's been Malik Willis getting those 2 wins these last 2 weeks, I think LaFleur is a Super Bowl contending coach just for the game plan aspect. Once you get your guy back, you're not running kind of like that college style offense.
Yeah.
Running the ball 30 plus times. That's not what the Packers do with Jordan Love. Even when he comes back, I could maybe see it just to take the pressure off of him. Once he's like healthy and he's slinging the ball, they're throwing the ball 40 to 50 times.
Yeah.
But outside, let's see. So Lions, Philly. I'm gonna bump San Fran out. I'm not gonna put San Fran in there right now.
I'm there. I just don't know about anybody else.
Yeah, it's hard. I think if I had to pick 2 more, maybe you do just throw in the Vikings and Packers.
That's the...
Because it's like, who are you going to take outside of that? You're going to throw like Atlanta, New Orleans.
New Orleans, maybe. See, that's the thing. It's so tricky.
I still think the New Orleans is like worse than the Packers and the Vikings.
Yeah. But they're... Okay, I would say they're worse, but they're also in the same boat. Like... Right. The Vikings ceiling is a lot higher than the New Orleans ceiling. The Packers ceiling is a lot higher than the New Orleans ceiling. However, where they're at, their flaws, they're equal. Like New Orleans will win the same games the Vikings will win, and they'll lose the same games the Vikings will lose. And
they're around that same kind of tier. But I think just right now through week 3, I think you almost have to put Minnesota. Minnesota has 2 just amazingly convincing wins, especially against the Texans. I'll throw Minnesota at 3. And then I think 4 is kind of just...
It's anybody.
It's kind of like it's either...
It's like a Dallas,
Green Bay, and San Fran. That'd be... Yeah, you can throw any of those 3 teams in there, but I'm going to go Minnesota at 3. They look so good right now. Brian Flores, defense wins championships, and could he possibly bring Minnesota there first?
Don't get my hope. Don't do that. Don't get my hopes up.
You're a Lions fan. Let's chill out here.
The reason I'm a Lions fan is because it's because my dad and me made a bet when I was like 17, and so I just naturally cheer for him. But now I kind of like the Vikings. I remember 2009. I was 9 years old, sitting in my basement, playing my GameCube. I played the Saints. I beat the piss out of them. And then 3 hours later, they just throw the ball. And it's because of your guy. You're freaking number 4 guy. I don't hate him.
Okay, so I'll be honest. So
I'm not getting
like
my
being a
heart broken,
Packers.
Kaz. I'm not getting my heart broken again. Not again. 2017, frick the Eagles. And
So being a Packers fan, Favre was my guy. And when he, came to Minnesota, it was big news.
Yeah.
It was a guy that beat the piss out of the Vikings for how many years?
a lot.
But when you have somebody like that, like I grew up watching Favre. Like as a kid, I idolized Favre. Now, not so much.
Now he kind of sucks.
But one thing before I continue, I don't know if you heard, diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
Dang, now I take it back. He doesn't suck.
But
okay.
so
Before the Mississippi State thing or whatever, I did like him a lot. I
Yeah.
liked him a lot.
yeah,
So I'll go back. I still like him a lot.
Yeah.
Even after the Mississippi thing.
Mississippi
thing was
but
rough, though. So.
like when they made that run to the championship game, like I wanted Minnesota to win that game.
Everybody did.
It was because it's like, it's not a Philly thing where like people hate New Orleans.
I hate
So it's like Minnesota fans hate the Saints.
I hate the Saints.
But I wanted Minnesota to win that game. I wanted to see Favre get back because like Favre's a legend. Only being to 2, winning 1.
Getting kicked out by the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, that was before our time. So, but yeah, I wanted to be able to see Brett Favre in a Super Bowl because watching for years, losing to the Giants in that 07 game, wanting to see Brett Favre be Brett Favre. Definitely wanted to see it. The Bounty Gate, the worst thing ever. I hated it, but. I did want Minnesota to win that game, even being a Packer fan. Like I have Brett Favre Vikings jersey, I have his Jets jersey. The only jersey I don't have is his Falcons jersey, but they're impossible to find. And
Dude, they're like $400. Like they're a lot.
yeah, and I don't want to like make one like on NFL Shop, so it's like whatever. I can deal without having a Brett
try
Favre
to find you
jersey. But it also would have been cool to see Favre take on Manning
Oh, that would have been.
instead of like a
That would've been
Breeze,
awesome.
right? Instead of like a Breeze Manning Super Bowl, and would have been cool to see Favre. But having friends, having family, because like I've seen a Super Bowl. I got to witness my team as a kid win a Super Bowl. Like there is nothing more exciting than seeing that. I'm so torn because it's like the despair that Minnesota sports fans have gone through.
Not even just in football.
Yeah, not even just football. Everything. Like I'm a Timberwolves fan and a Twins fan. Wild, whatever. I'm not a big hockey guy,
Wilder.
but
I know.
it's like I do go through the same things, just not on like the football side. Where it's like I'm a huge Timberwolves fan. Watching what happened last year was frustrating. Seeing the Twins fall apart this year.
Implode. Rocco, we're coming for your job.
Oh, the pull ads, man. Sell the team. Sell the team. So I do like get like the Minnesota despair, but it's like I'm still a Packer fan. I would love to see the Vikings go 0-17 every single year.
Judas. No, I just the Vikings like that. I can't.
Every single one of you, every single one of you has had that dream since you've been alive.
Before,
Yeah,
like,
since you were born.
Since before, even before my dad was born. Like
Yeah. Oh, like my
they're like 61 and he's a little bit older than that. But
because what year were the Vikings? 65.
61 they became a team.
Okay.
60. Yeah, I think no, because they were always in the NFL because they never went to the AFL.
No.
So 61 they originated.
Okay.
And then they won the NFL championship in 69.
The equivalent of an NFC championship.
Basically, yeah.
No,
then
so
they
like my
lost
grandpa,
Super Bowl IV.
like my grandpa's a huge Vikings fan, watches them every week. But so he's
yeah, me and my
older,
grandpa hates you on Sunday.
but he's older than the Vikings franchise.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, same with my dad.
So he wouldn't even really known like football that much when they won the championship. So it's like
But
the heartbreak that he's went through.
my dad though was the same. Like he was around our age when they went to the 4, so he watched them all lose.
Yeah.
And so, dude, that PTSD, I think he's got it for Vikings football. but he will sit through any game. He gets mad at me because I leave when I get pissed, and so he's like, "I'm surprised you're still here if they're losing." He's like, "I'm surprised you're still." When they played Indy and they were down 33-0, there was nothing I could do about it, so we just sat there. And he's like, "They just need 4 touchdowns." I was like, "Okay," and 2-point conversions and 2 onside kicks or whatever. And then all of a sudden it came true. He's like, "Well, when you're right, you're right." I was like, "Jeez, dude, chill."
Yeah, that was a great game. I actually was able to watch that game, but I don't know, just
I don't buy it yet. Until they make the Super Bowl, I will never buy it.
even I think if they made the Super Bowl, like
until the
so that's one question that I'll ask you, but then to the audience is, if the Vikings made the Super Bowl, are you, even if they're a top team,
15, 17-0.
Right, they're not playing against Kansas City, like, are you still sitting there like, this is, I mean, it's not going to happen? Or are you like going into that game like, we made the Super Bowl, this is our time? I feel like being a Vikings fan, it's just like you walk into that game like, yeah, there's just for some reason it's going to be a missed field goal.
You think that any time the Vikings play? I mean, let's be honest.
I don't know. Their kicker right now is good.
Yeah, but in the back of my mind, I overanalyze all of the bad plays, and I overanalyze the things that they do wrong. And so it's like when Sam Darnold throws a pick, even though they're up by 14, I'm still like, this is where it starts.
I think like Vikings fans,
this is where it begins.
I think like if big if they hit the Super Bowl, I think even like if the clock hit 0 and
it wouldn't be real.
No, they would sit there and be like, all right, when's the asteroid gonna hit? Like,
it wouldn't be like the plane's gonna come crash down on the field. Like where's you know?
Yeah, it's the end of times. Hell froze over. It is like Jesus walks the earth.
Dude, I hope that happens, bro. On my life. No, the Vikings. It looks real. It looks real good. Let's just jump into it, though. Let's just jump into it. Green Bay.
Yeah.
Green Bay Vikings. Who do you take?
We're starting off with.
We're just ripping.
Ooh, okay.
We're ripping from the jump.
All right. So the tough thing is not knowing if Love's going to play.
Julian.
Jordan. But for my picks this week, at home,
Malik Lewis plays.
Green Bay takes the dub.
I hate you.
Gives the Vikings their first loss of the season.
Worst person in the history
overtakes,
of all time. I would rather
overtakes the division lead. I'm taking the Packers again this week.
What are you, 5? Did you not just see what they did to C.J. Stroud and Brock Purdy back-to-back weeks? You think Malik Willis or even Jordan Love, half injured, will survive?
Dude, I'm 25 years old, and I've witnessed 2 months of bad quarterback play. Yes, I do believe in the Packers.
I am 25 years old, and I have witnessed maybe
25 years of bad quarterback play.
2 seasons of good quarterback play.
And one of them was the rotting corpse of Brett Favre.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to hear anything about quarterback play here.
I
know.
Am taking the
purple incarnate of Satan.
Packers. I think it is. I think it's fraudulent. Dude, I'm not sold. I've seen what happens to this team. Dude, chunk plays are killing the Vikings. Bruh, tell me why CJ Stroud can march down the field with 4 minutes left, just marching. Yeah, it's junk time. Yeah, it's garbage time. Brock Purdy did it the week before. March down the field.
Yep.
In the clutch moments, you threw a pick. In the clutch moments, you fumbled. Think about that. Vikings fans, I know you're going to riot. I know you're going to come for my throat. But guess what? This team is good. The team is good. Your team is good.
Not better than Packers.
They're not. No, they're better than the Packers.
Why don't you take them then?
But I am taking the Packers.
No, I'm saying the Vikings. Why don't you take them if they're better than the Packers?
Because they're not going to win. I'm not picking who's better. I'm picking who's going to win.
Okay.
I think the Packers do win. I think the Vikings get them back home. So
do you think it's going to be like a convincing win, or do you think it's just going to be like
2 score?
Ooh.
Either 10, 14. I think it'll be 2-score.
Okay.
I think it'll be close all the way up until the third. Either they're starting to get blown out at the half or they're going to be close up until the third. But then I think Green Bay catches their stride in the third. The run game.
That's a big one.
That's the question. We haven't really played too much running back play.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon was hurt. Obviously CMC, and then what's his name, Mason. He
tore it up still. He still had over 100.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, and week 1, who did they play week 1?
Giants.
Giants.
So yeah, they didn't play a running team.
They didn't play a running team.
Playing
so
against Josh Jacobs is going to be...
It's going to be a different beast. Brian Flores is that guy who could scheme it up that way, but then if you do have Jordan Love playing, you have to be careful. If you have Malik Willis playing, then you can just send the dogs. Make them run that ball. Make them run that rock. I don't know. I think it'll be a really good game. Xavier McKinney's a dog, so JJ's going to have his biggest test of the year against Ja and McKinney. You still don't have Addison, so Naylor. It's a mismatch.
Was Addison ruled out?
I don't know, but I'm just going to wing it and say that he's going to be out. You can look it up for me.
Okay.
But
I'd seen he was limited, so...
That's not a good sign. AJ in his return home, I think he has a big day. I think AJ has a big day. I think he scores 2. I'm gonna give him 2. But the Packers, dude, I just think at home where they're at right now, they're hot. They're feeling good. Vikings are hot. They're feeling good. But because they know the momentum that comes with it, I think the Packers take that. They seize it. Like you said, LaFleur is a good coach. He'll scheme something up. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it'll be really, really fun to watch. But I do see the Packers taking it. And that's just, as I just went through like 15 minutes of ranting about how the Vikings aren't that team, today they're not that team. I'm going Packers, swallowing my pride. I'm going to accept the fact that, you know, this is the game that they lose. If they win, by all hopes and dreams that we all have, if they do win, then, boy, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid yet, but boy, that'll feel good. That'll be a good dub.
All right, we got
that'll
next.
feel real good.
What game you got next?
A big one under the radar, but not really under the radar. Sunday Night Football, Buffalo, Baltimore. Buffalo looks red hot. Baltimore just got a big dub. It's in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Josh Allen looks out of this world, MVP type caliber. Lamar Jackson carrying that team, reigning MVP. 2 questions. Is this the year? I guess it's one question, but one question for 2 people.
Okay.
Is this the year that they get over the hump? And does this game decide who gets over the hump? The hump being Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think that hump is still just a little bit too big to get over for any other team. I think the Bills have the better chance over Baltimore, which is kind of surprising since moving off a true wide receiver 1 going into a receiver room that doesn't have a top
Keon
guy.
had a good day. Keon had an okay day.
Yeah, but I mean, like Shakir had, I think, 2 touchdowns or touchdown.
Samuel
Whatever.
had a big. He was like.
Yeah, so it's like not having, you know, a top guy where last year having Diggs. I think Buffalo still has that good chance.
They got that dog.
But yeah, I'm taking Buffalo in Baltimore this week. Still high on Baltimore, but I'm just a little bit higher on Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Buffalo on that one. I think that they are ready to take, if they win this game in convincing fashion, or if at least they win this game, I think that they are ready for that test, just because Josh Allen is showing the signs that he is ready for that test. Pat Mahomes is still the greatest player on earth, arguably top 3 player of all time. However, you see this every now and then. Kind of like with Joe Burrow 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Someone steps up to the plate. Someone steps up and tries him. CJ Stroud tried it last year. Lamar should have done better last year. Every year there's a guy, and I think this year it's Josh Allen. I think the Bills team, a win like this carries them pretty far. I just want to look real quick, see where they're at after this. Jacksonville, Baltimore. So they go to Houston, then they go to New York. a win like this does carry you through those 2 games, 2 big games, because Houston's going to be wanting to bounce back. I'm assuming they're going to win this week. They're playing Jacksonville in Houston. And then the Jets, I'm pretty sure they're going to win again this week. And then I don't know who they play the next week, but both are big games. So you've got 3 big games on the road, right, back to back to back. You win the first one against a better team in Baltimore. I think you can carry it all the way through the board. I'm taking Buffalo as well.
All right.
And then Detroit and Seattle, Monday night doubleheader. The second game, it's in Detroit. Seattle's 3-0. They look good. Shout out my boy. They look good on defense, which was their weak point in the past few years.
Yep.
Leonard Williams is out, so that's kind of a iffy on there. But Geno's slinging that rock again, and it looks good. So.
Yeah, Seattle looks good. I don't think they've had like a really big test like a Detroit Lions team, but I mean 3-0 speaks for itself.
Yeah,
like if you're 3-0, I mean you're doing something right.
Even Pittsburgh, like Justin Fields looks better.
Yeah,
like I could see him going 4-0. They play Indy in Indy. I could see him going 4-0. Doesn't mean that it'll last, but it's a great start for the season.
Yeah,
and if Baltimore loses, you're 2 games up.
Yeah. I'm still gonna take Detroit. Get to see the all black alternates with the blue helmet this week, and I believe Seattle's going all white, so a great uniform matchup as well. I think it's gonna be a good game.
Dog.
I don't see a blowout happening. Like we kind of have touched on the last couple weeks, red zone scoring has been an issue for Detroit. With a revamped Seahawks defense, gonna make it tough to get in the end zone. Still got Devon Witherspoon, Reek,
Julian Love, the actual Julian Love, not Jordana.
It's gonna be tough.
They're dogs.
It's gonna be tough, but I still think that the Lions are gonna squeak one out.
They're a better team. But every time Seattle and Detroit plays, it's like a 80-point game. Like there's the over/under on this has to be high 60s, maybe 70s. Like, dude, it is a hot game every time they play. I think last year it was 38-41 or 38-35. There was 38 in there somewhere. It'll be a good game. I'm really happy it's on Monday night. My team, two of my top 5 favorite teams are playing each other. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Tell us about your top 15 teams for sure.
My top 15. I'll tell you about the top 15 I hate.
Well, yeah, because then we'll just kind of figure out who you root for.
Oh, your power rank? You want me to do
No,
I'm saying my favorites.
I'm just saying because you have about 15 favorite teams.
Oh, jeez.
Because I know Detroit, Minnesota, you got Kansas City up there, you got Seattle up there, you got Dallas up there. I mean, like, I'm a Packer fan through and through. If I'm, like, watching another game to, like, root, like, cheer for them, it's probably Cincinnati, but I don't care.
I care a lot.
That's bad.
I care a lot.
Oh, that's the worst.
I care
That's
a lot.
the worst.
I got my Mahomes jersey this week, and I put it on during the game. And when they were making their comeback, dude, I was sweating bullets. I was like, dude, do not let them get this. Do not let them get this. And then they didn't get it. And so I was like, thank you. So I wore my Mahomes jersey this week. My Russell Wilson jersey's in the rafters. I honestly don't have any Viking stuff. I have my Dallas stuff and I have my Detroit stuff.
I do have NFL jerseys that aren't the Packers. But I'm not like rooting for them.
I'd say after those 5, because those are my 5 favorite teams. After those 5, it's more of a player status. Like I love Tyrann Mathieu. Dude, Tyrann Mathieu is probably my favorite player of all time. He's 5'8", 180, just like me. LSU born. I love all LSU boys. LSU is my favorite college team. After that, probably CJ. Trying to think who else. I really like Jair when he was good. Now he's bad, so I don't like him anymore. I do like Jordan Love a lot, though. I like Jalen Hurts. I like Joe Burrow. I'm trying to think who else. That's about it, though. Those are probably the guys. I can't help it. I like what.
All right, so you got the Lions though?
I do got Lions, yeah. If I didn't make my pick, I got Lions. So Buffalo, Lions, and Green Bay. Those are my 3 picks.
Okay, so we're gonna run through Just like the quick little, all of them might as well.
Yeah. Quick picks. Quick picks brought to you by Bailey's grandma and grandpa for letting us use their house.
Yeah.
Dallas, New York.
Taking the Jets.
No, Giants.
Oh, they play the Giants. Oh,
Play the Giants.
I had the Cowboys. Sorry.
Okay, Cowboys.
I thought you meant the Jets. No, they play tomorrow, right? Yeah, they play Thursday. Yeah,
Yep.
Sorry, my bad. I thought you were talking about the Jets. No, I'm Cowboys.
New Orleans, Atlanta. In Atlanta. Okay, the first team is going to be the away team. Second team is going to be home.
Okay. I'm taking the Saints.
Saints. L.A. Rams versus Chicago in Chicago.
Rams.
Minnesota, Green Bay. I hate myself. I really do. Pittsburgh in Indy.
Steelers.
Yeah, me too. Denver in New York. Jets this time.
Jets.
Jets. Philly in Tampa.
Ooh, I think.
This is a good
I have
game.
it down. I have
This
it
is a
down.
good game.
It's interesting. I'm gonna stick with the Eagles. I'm gonna stick with my pick. So I have them written down, but like now that you say it, it's just like, ooh, that's a weird game. But I'll stick with the Eagles.
I'm gonna take Philly as well. Cincinnati in Carolina. Cincinnati gets their first win.
I just believe in the hype too much. I'm going to take Cincy.
Yeah, that's the right pick.
Yeah.
Jacksonville in Houston.
Texans.
Yeah. Washington in Arizona. This is actually an interesting game.
It is an interesting game, especially with Jane Daniels coming off his best game of his young career. And I'm still going to take the Cardinals.
I'm taking Washington. I buy it. I believe. New England in San Francisco.
Even though they're just absolutely battered, I'm still going to take the Niners.
Dude, I don't like this because this is like this is one of them weeks where it's like the bad teams are gonna take some, just like last week. Cleveland in Vegas.
I'm going Cleveland.
I'm going Vegas.
Ooh,
I think they come back. They're coming for vengeance. Kansas City in LA.
Kansas City.
They own them. Buffalo, Baltimore. I'm going Buffalo. Tennessee, Miami in Miami.
I'm gonna take the Dolphins. I think Tyler Huntley's starting this week.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna rock with the Dolphins.
And then Seattle, Detroit. We took Detroit.
Yeah. Nice little
quick picks.
Yeah, nice little quick picks. Couple nice games. Okay, so before we move off football, this is a question that I've kind of been thinking about here. Who is like your random like favorite player from like when we were growing up?
Ooh.
Not well known.
A random.
Like a random. Like who was somebody that you were like
random.
that you were like high on? Like maybe not even from your favorite team. Because like mine, you'll know who it is. But
Who is it?
Justin Blackman.
Really?
Oklahoma State. I don't know what it was.
Really?
But Justin Blackman, because I can't remember. Was it Gabbert that was at OK State with Blackman?
I think Gabbert was at OK.
Who was it then? I can't. Whoever Blackman played with. I don't know what it was, but I loved we for some reason here got a bunch of Oklahoma State games on TV.
Yeah.
So it's like we're in Minnesota, so like Oklahoma State, like what are they doing on TV? But for some reason, I loved Justin Blackman. He's like my random player that I just fell in love with when I was like, 12?
Dude, you got me like all confused now. Oh, Bob Sanders.
Ooh.
The OG. Dude, when I was a little kid and I just got Madden, I played as the Colts all the time. I don't know why. Me and Jake Bonacera bonded over this because his favorite team was the Colts. I had a Peyton Manning jersey. I think that's what it was because me and Peyton Manning have the same birthday. And I was real big on birthdays back then. So I think that's why I like the Colts. But Bob Sanders, dog. Absolute monster. And then I was talking to my dad about him. And he's like, yeah, it's a shame that he got hurt. But dude, man, that guy could hit like a truck. Mm-hmm. Bob Sanders, he was one of them guys.
Got anything off football now?
Yeah. So I did want to touch a pretty big topic. There's the war in Israel, and Lebanon just got bombed, so that it's expanding, and that's kind of been their big fear of the war. It's been feared that it'll expand, and as it does, how much more will the U.S. get involved with it?
Right. I think Iran kind of being a part of it has sent like messages to the United States about not getting involved. So that's a little worrisome, but the U.S. backing Israel, it's a tough situation for me because I don't know the history on the like Israel, all of that. And so like I know this has been a war that's been happening back on and off
forever,
centuries.
Yeah.
So I think just the fact that like citizens, non-military, are involved. I mean, getting bombed, getting
there was those 6 people that were executed.
Yeah, man. I mean, both sides. Like, what? Like, I would have to read into it to like understand like what like the war is about.
It's a territory type thing. So the way Israel was set up long ago, it was Israel, and then it was like Judah, and then it was like all these other places that weren't Israel, and so Jerusalem was kind of the capital of it. Well, Gaza, way back when or sometime, they obviously split off, became their own independent state, and so it's something to do with that independency where Israel's like, no, this is our land, you belong to us type thing. And so they've just been going back and forth, and Gaza obviously wants away from Israel, so and they've got nowhere to go. They're kind of landlocked, so it's a situation type like that.
So what's the situation like moving like now with Lebanon?
Yeah, so that was kind of their big fear of it expanding into Lebanon, just because now you've got civilians. Now basically the U.S. has to act, because I want to say we have some sort of agreement with Lebanon or whatnot.
Okay.
So I think it's one of those where it's like, now that it's expanding, the U.S.'s hands are tied. Similar to the Ukraine thing, where it's like, we're allies with them because of NATO, but obviously Russia is like, hey, don't do it. Like, this is ours. Like, we want it back.
Yeah.
And so that conflict is very similar to this one. And I mean, I hate it because why? Like it's only driving us towards a world war. It's only driving us further into the trenches. And with the Lebanon thing, you inch that much more closer to it. And so I just want to pick your brain a little bit. Like, if there was a World War III, what do you want to see?
Man, that's so tough. It's a broad question. I mean, what are like the main things that like war being fought over? I think a big one being religion.
Oh yeah.
Right? I would like to see less extremists coming out of this. Obviously, there's really no way to stop it, but probably like bigger penalty when it comes to that, because like when you're fighting over religion, and I know your take on Christianity and everything. For me, like, I don't follow a religion, so my thing on it is, there's no proof to anything. That's why it's called faith. It is a belief. Like fighting war over something that you have no proof over, killing innocent civilians, both sides, like whatever side it is. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pick sides on it, but I'd like to see just less extremists.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Keep it isolated. If like there is a war, keep it isolated to the countries involved. And
I think the agreements are, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, just because, like, obviously allied nations, like when like you're in like need of help.
Yeah.
I don't think like putting yourself into a war, I don't think that is like grounds for like, oh, we need help. Like, oh, we're calling this a war. Like, we're going to war. We need whatever it is, money. We need
aid. Yep.
So if you're getting yourself into the war because of something like that, it's like, I think you need to be on your own.
Yes. Thank you. I don't like the involvement in wars that don't involve us. That's my stance on it. I don't like it because
it makes us look bad when we're picking sides, but it's like when you're allied with somebody and then they go into war with somebody that we're not allied with, and it's just like, well, we have to help this because of, this treaty.
Yeah.
It's like, if they're putting themselves in that situation where it's like, we're going to fight for this, it's like, you need, like, if you're going to put yourself into a situation, you need to be able to handle it. Yeah. That'd be like me and you going out and
we meet some guy.
Right. And I want to fist fight him. But I'm fully expecting you to help me.
Yeah. Which I would, because we're like
that.
But still.
But that's the thing. Where it's like, if you're going to pick a fight, you have to be able to stand up for yourself and back. Like, you shouldn't expect backup.
Yeah. And I think that's a problem. Like you said, like, I think that's a big problem, because with the European thing, like with Ukraine, like, yeah, like they are now a part of NATO, and yes, it is wrong. However, why are we the ones that have to do it? And that's kind of been my issue the whole time. Like, even as I've grown up, it's just like, why do we have to be the ones to do it? Like,
I think one thing with us that is so much different from like other superpowers in the world is like, we've kind of made ourselves into like the world police.
Yes.
But like, we do for sure have like the highest standards when it comes to like war, like committing like, I mean, like, when it comes to like,
if I was a different country and I heard that the U.S. was coming after me, I'd probably just piss my pants and die.
Right. Like, if you're thinking like non-nuclear situations, then yeah. Because it's like, if we head into like World War III and you piss off Russia, China, even like North Korea, like, there's a decent chance it goes nuclear, just because from what we do see, it's like these people are kind of psychotic.
But then you got to think there's a double-edged sword. See, that's like, to your point,
it's who's going to hit first and harder.
That's the key.
I've read things on like the United States military, like being able to put boots on the ground anywhere in the world within 48 hours. That's so scary,
dude. No, and like, well, you got to think about it,
because we're everywhere.
Yes. Well, when Trump bombed, and I don't want to get into politics right now, but when he bombed that, ambassador, whatever, that leader, they hit the target and dang near nothing else from thousands of miles away, like hundreds of miles away. Like, dude, that type of precision, and then you focus all of your energy like onto it. Yeah. Like, that's the scariest part. So it's like, yeah, I understand why we're the police, but I just don't like it, because it's like, why? Like, why does it have to be us? Like, we can be the best, but we can also have policy where it's like, okay, if you do get yourself involved in something, you have to go through a line of resources before coming to us.
But
like, that makes it
what other superpowers in the world, looking at China, looking at Russia, I don't think you really have to worry too much about India. But you do look at like Russia and China, seeing how like they've went about things. China is more like they're talking about it, where Russia is obviously in a war right now. They're flexing it. Yeah. Right. But like, what other superpowers can we like fully trust to like, because either way, it's like, if we put like those agreements in place, it's like we're still the ones policing it. Yes. So I think now that we've put ourselves in that position, it's something that like you really just can't get out of. And so I don't think you can trust those other superpowers to be like, and you guys take care of it. Yeah, for sure. Like, we're gonna let Putin take care of it. That's
exactly what I mean. Like, if you look at China, they're the second greatest military in the world right now. Not nearly as close to the U.S. as some people think. Like, it's not close. But they are the second military in the world, and they don't necessarily do what we do. Yeah, sure, their politics are a lot different. Like, basically, they're a dictatorship. However, look at their advancements. Look at their, everything that they are doing. And so, not saying that China's better than us, because they're not. But
USA.
But if the U.S. did take a step back and let someone else take the reins a little bit, or at least take some of the pressure off, is that necessarily a bad thing? For the small guys, yes, because now it's like, okay, big brother's moving off to college. You can't protect you every time you mess up. But for the U.S., it's like, okay, now we have a little bit more ease about sending our boys over to do something, or we have a little bit more ease about if, let's say Lebanon gets bombed. Yes, it's very sad, and yes, there's civilians that die, but I sleep a lot better knowing that it wasn't one of our missiles that did it.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
And, war is the greatest moneymaker of all time, like hands down, bottoms up. And so the only ones who really win a war are the countries that win the war. And so are we on the wrong side of it? I don't know. And I won't know until it happens. But I don't want to find out.
No, absolutely not.
I don't want to find out.
Yeah, moving into something like that is just... Yeah, hopefully we never see it.
And you look at the good that comes out of it when you win, because you got to look at the baby boom, you got to look at the Cold War, you got to look at everything after World War II, and it's like, dude, that's when America just turned into America, basically. Like, yeah, America was doing great things before that, but they weren't what we are now.
Yeah.
Before that, so it's like, yes, we win the wars, and yes, we take that very seriously, and we're very prideful about that, but look at what it did. Like, it got us out of the Great Depression. Suburbs were born, interstates were basically put up. The baby boom happened, everything was great. And I hate to say that history repeats itself like that, but
it's gonna hit at some point.
It's very similar that not saying that World War III is a good thing, but if we survive it and we take it out, economically, we're going to be very well off. And so, and that's kind of another topic, like baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, and then Gen Z, and then Alpha or whatever they are.
Yeah, because we're Z, right?
Yeah, we're Z. So it's like the boomers obviously are well off. Like they are not all of them, but their life, their where they're at in life, they're pretty much taken care of.
Yep.
Gen X, they're not at that retirement stage yet. However, they're gonna be fine.
Yep.
Millennials and Gen Z and everybody after, we're kind of in that tough spot. Like you try to buy a house right now, good luck. You try to save up for anything, good luck. You try to get married and have kids, good luck. So it's like
even having like a pet, like it's a lot.
And so it's like, have we already necessarily failed, or are we screwed as a generation right now?
I think millennials are probably in the toughest spot out of everybody, because it's like, I mean, they're not old, like we said, 30-year-olds were, but I think they're in the toughest spot where it's like they're midlife.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're sitting there like, all right, half my life is gone. I might have a house. You might still be renting. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, things are tough. Getting up in age, still putting in 40+ hour work weeks. Like we're young enough, like Gen Z, like we can do it. Like we were definitely like set up for failure from like the time we were born. Economy wise now within the United States just sucks.
We're screwed.
Yeah. Everything after, it's these next probably 8 to 12 years is really going to depict what happens with that generation. I still think like we'll be able to get out of it.
I think,
but we need some economic help.
Like I think our kids and our grandkids,
I think it should be like our mission to like make sure, like even if we go into that, like where it's like, yeah, say our next like 10, 20 years, like by the time we're midlife is still terrible, like our duty would be to fix it for that younger generation.
And I feel like a lot of people are on that same page with us, because a lot of people are in that boat with us. Like we're getting screwed. Rent is so high.
I think the worst thing, like the worst thing you hear from like the millennial group or even like the baby boomer group is like, well, I had a house, I had I paid off 2 cars, and that was only on 1 income.
You didn't work hard enough. Dude, you didn't work at all. Right. Like, what do you mean?
Like, your 40 hours were a set 40 hours. Like, you did not, like, a lot of, like, boomers, like, you did not work overtime.
No.
Like, you didn't have to.
No.
So we
work with our hands. We work with our skill. Like,
right.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's like, when you hear that, and you're sitting here, like, I put in more than 40 hours a week.
Yeah, you work hard. I work not that hard.
Right.
I'm
and
9 to 5.
It's like, yeah, like saving. It's like I do splurge. Like I like stuff. Like I like stuff. But I'm also not going out. I'm not spending $500 on clothes. Like I'm not doing that. Yeah.
No, I think you're right though, where it's like we have to be smart with our money. Like we don't have a choice. Yeah, we don't have a choice. Whereas like with a boomer saying, I bought my first house in 1970 something for $114,000. Oh, really? How many bedrooms? 4 bedrooms, 3 bath. Wow. Like, dude, I know.
What's your house worth today?
Mine?
No. Like saying like,
oh, like what is your house worth right now? Yeah, you're probably in the 500s. Like you're probably pushing 6.
Right.
Like
you well over tripled your money. And that wasn't even like an investment. That was just like your house.
Like in inflation rate, like 110, 114 back then. Sure, it's probably like 250, close to 3. Mm-hmm. But what I get for 250, close to 3 is maybe 1,800 square feet, a bedroom, maybe a second bedroom, maybe a bath.
Right, our generation, like you are like fully dependent on another person. Like you are either like and like our friends, like a lot of friends. I lived with my friends. Like you're dependent on another person, at least one other person. Like a lot of people are living with, they got roommates,
friends. They live at home.
Live with their partner,
siblings.
Like there's not a lot of people that I know that are our age that are like living by themselves.
Yeah, and like surviving.
Right.
It. Like I think about that a lot because it's like, dude, I could either buy a house for myself and then just be paycheck, or I could buy like investments in property, rent it out, wait the 5 to 10 years, and then be, in a better spot. Secure. Exactly. Yeah. It's like, would I rather do that or would I rather have my own place? Like I put it in perspective where it's like, I would rather wait, be in a better spot in 10, 15 years, and then be fine. Because it's like, life is short.
Yep.
Not gonna lie. I don't know if I'm gonna have tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna next week. But I'm thinking long term where it's like, okay, yeah, sure, I want to go out and have fun, and yeah, sure, I want to buy a motorcycle, I want to buy a car, I want to buy this, I want to buy boats, I want to do all that.
Right.
But is it the smart choice? Am I, when I'm 35, gonna say, dang, that was really fun. I'm really glad I had a motorcycle. Now I got nothing in savings. Now I've got nothing here and there. I've got nothing to really
living
fall
week
back
to week
on.
in an apartment, which people do, and it's like, where would you rather be? Would you rather be in a house in 15 years, or would you rather be paycheck to paycheck with a 30-year-old car in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment? So it's like we have to be smarter with our money than probably any other generation had to.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying like, make mistakes. Like obviously you're gonna make mistakes, but I'm saying like our generation to survive has to be smarter.
We're thinking farther out than we would have had to. Like a 5-year plan, no, it's more like a 15-year plan. Like my first mortgage, I want to make sure that it's not something where I'm going to get screwed on. Like I don't want to pay too much, and then all of a sudden that's all I'm paying for. Like that's all where my money goes. I don't want that. I want to save up. I don't want to work anymore. Like if I'm being honest, I want to have enough saved up by the time I'm like 40, 45, where it's like I can just stop working,
Got anything else
have
before?
that investment before I go.
Yeah, anything else before we head out?
Cut it out.
Yeah, I think we're running a little bit here.
I don't know, man. I just think that football wise, the league is really fun to watch. Go Vikings. World wise, I think the next 10 to 15 years, kind of like what you said, is going to impact a lot of people. And I just want to make it very clear that, we have our opinions. and what we do as young people, as 25-year-olds going into that stage of life where we are able to make big decisions and we are able to make big impact. I think that's very, very important that we are smart about it, because I don't want to make the same mistakes that my grandparents made, or that my dad made, or that, you know, the generations before us made, that set it up so that my kids and my grandkids are still in the same boat. Like, dude, I just want it to be a better world. Like, I don't really care what you think, what you believe, where you're going, or what you look like. I just want you to be a good person and make the world a better place. That's really about it, though.
Yeah, that's great words.
So, yeah, you've got a wedding this week, so it might be a later episode, maybe Monday, Tuesday. Other than that, we got our picks.
Yeah,
it's looking good. Anything?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Please have your pets spayed and neutered, and good night.